During Ruan Mei's introduction in the Honkai Star Rail story, if you weren't too busy staring at her like I was, you'll notice that there are a few moments where a cake is mentioned. First, the Trailblazer will mention that there's cake on Ruan Mei's mouth, and secondly, Ruan Mei will offer the Trailblazer some cake and it will be laced with a drug that prevents the Trailblazer from talking about Ruan Mei. Well, if you go exploring in the restricted area of the space station, you'll find a document with the recipe for Ruan Mei's Plum-Scented Soybean Cake. Now, if you look at the directions, they are quite intense. So I will be doing my own personal take on the directions, and I did draw some inspirations from the event that came out at the same time, involving those little experiments. Okay, so the backstory of this cake is taken care of. Let's dive into the recipe. As always, the written recipe is in the description below, and please consider subscribing if you would enjoy more Hoyoverse cooking content. To begin, let's actually focus on the filling. I started with a mung bean paste because I thought I could incorporate some blossom powder in. Boil the mung beans for 10 minutes until they are completely soft. Strain and mash with a spoon. Pour the mashed beans into a pan, add milk, sugar, and oil and cook on medium heat until most of the liquid has dissolved. Sprinkle in potato starch. In here, I attempted to add in the blossom powder, but it didn't really incorporate like I hoped. Continue to mix until a paste has formed. Wrap the paste and let it cool to room temperature. You can make this a day ahead and leave in the fridge as well. An alternative to this, if you would like a sweeter cake, would be to use red bean paste. The reason why I didn't choose red bean paste in the first place is because I wanted to try to incorporate the powder to make it closer to a pink or purplish color, right? But we didn't really get that, so red bean paste will work here if you want a sweeter cake. Moving on to the dough, I'm using roasted soybean flour. This is to simulate the part of the recipe where she grinds soybeans and fries the dough. Add soybean flour, golden syrup, if you don't have this, honey works too, lye water, and oil. Here I also added more blossom powder, but I'm not gonna lie, it felt like it did not do anything. Mix until a dough forms and let the dough rest for at least 30 minutes. Weigh roughly 20 grams of the mung bean paste and sprinkle in more blossom powder if desired. I'm really just trying to add it everywhere I can. Then roll it into a ball. Continue until all of the paste is used. For the dough, I'm also measuring into 20-gram balls. Flatten the ball and spread the dough slightly. Place a ball of the mung bean paste in and pull the dough over to completely cover the paste. Roll into a ball again and set aside. Continue until all the cakes are formed. Now take a mooncake mold and mold all of the cakes. I lightly sprinkle the mold with flour to help prevent sticking. Once all the mooncakes are formed, ignore that one, that is my tester cake. Let the cake sit in the fridge for at least 30 minutes to let it rest. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Place the mooncake in and bake for 5 minutes. This allows the cake to keep its form for the next step. Wash the cakes with egg wash and then bake for 10 minutes. Once they are done, allow them to cool to room temperature. As you can see here, I have some cracks here and there. I think it's due to the soybean flour having no gluten, so there's very little chewiness and elasticity. Or it could just be me messing up somewhere. Sprinkle blossom powder all over the cakes and lightly press to allow the mooncake's design to come through. If you want sweeter cakes, you could combine the blossom powder with powdered sugar for some extra sweetness. Allow the cakes to rest overnight and enjoy them the next day. And that completes my personal take on Ruan Mei's soybean cake. I'm not entirely sure if I did it justice, but regardless, I think the cake tastes delicious, and it does match the description. Mouth-watering aroma with a lingering taste. The roasted flavor from the soybean flour really comes through in an umami sense, and you get that floral note from all the blossom powder I tried to incorporate. Let me know your thoughts, and if you enjoyed, please subscribe and like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.